Hey guys, this is my pro boat, Zelos 36. We're going to be going over some maintenance items with this. First thing I want to talk about is these EC5 connectors that come stock on these. These are rated to 120 amps. I see a lot of people changing to these XT90s. They're only rated to 90 amps. Don't change to these. XT90s are only rated to 90 amps. The EC5s are rated to 120, so you want to keep the EC5s, okay? Don't change them. Second thing is the flux shafts on these things. They are supposed to be gapped with a feeler gauge. You stick your feeler gauge right here between the strut and that dog, and you should have 1 to 2 millimeter. I tend to like to go more closer to 2 millimeter because when the flux shaft engages under a load, it actually is going to shrink, not extend or expand, and that's how you end up with damage in here. So you want to make sure you gap these. The way you gap these is right here, these shafts. I have two motors on this. I have a prop on this side. You're going to loosen this shaft here from this shaft. So you put a 10 millimeter wrench on this, just hold it, and lefty loosey this shaft here. Loosen it up, and you'll be able to slide this flux in and out. You want to go ahead and slide it all the way out, clean it really good with a paper towel, and you want to lube it with some marine lubrication. It's the first thing you want to do. You can buy marine lubrication from Walmart or any local bolt shop. You don't have to go to your hobby store. This is Mercury Marine Lubricant 2-4-C. Also, Quicksilver makes a marine lubricant. You can purchase these at Walmart. You'll get this big giant tube instead of buying these little tiny tubes from your hobby store and paying the same amount of money for a little bottle that you would a big one. So once you slide that in, you're going to want to gap it with your feeler gauge, and then you're going to want to tighten those back up. Okay, that's another maintenance item you want to do. Another maintenance item, you want to oil your electric engines. There's a bearing in the front. There's no bearing to gain access to in the back, but there is a bearing in the front. Now, you can buy a brushless oil from your local hobby shop for about $4. But if you know, like I do, electric motors have been around forever. You can go to your local Ace Hardware. This is called Zoom Spout Oiler. It actually says right on it, on the back here, it says ideal for use on industrial equipment, electric motors from 1/3 to 5 horsepower, bearings, bushings, shafts, shop tools, and various kinds of mechanical linkages. So you can use this oil. It's the same as the brushless oil that you get at your local hobby shop. And as you can see, this is a 4-ounce bottle. It's huge. It only cost me $4 from Ace Hardware. They also sell another oil. It's called 3-in-1. It comes in a blue bottle. That's the one you'd want if you don't want to use this Zoom Spout. It's called 3-in-1. It comes in a blue bottle. Do not get the black bottle. The black bottle has a detergent in it. So the 3-in-1 must be blue bottle. Now, you can take this oil, and you should have enough room to get in here. You want to lean the motor forward and spout, but you can also buy one of these little tiny bottles from any local hobby store or eBay. This one's made by Racer's Edge. You can take this oil, pour it in this little bottle, and then you have a really tiny little spigot here. You can put this in your toolbox for your hobby deal. So that's another thing you can do. These ESCs, when you program them, you need to make sure you not advance the timing more than the 7.5, or what is it? Let's see. Yeah, 7.50 degrees. I actually got the manuals for these motors from Horizon Hobby, and it actually says do not advance the timing more than 7.50 degrees timing. Now, when you get the ESCs from the factory, they are programmed forward and reverse. They are auto-calculate. They are set to 3.2 volts. And they are automatically set to 7.5 on the timing from the factory when you get these boats. But I just wanted to let you know, there are additional timings that you can do if you change your motor, but if you're using the factory motor, do not go more than 7.50. You can retard your timing if you want, but don't go more than that. What else? I had made these here because I was going to run this battery in series. I'll show you what I did here with this battery, and then run the battery. This is called a series battery, and this is how you run it. And then I was going to run this setup like this. And the reason why I put these on here is because I had other batteries that were Traxxas. So I was going to connect an adapter here from here to here, and then from here to here for Traxxas. But what I've decided to do is go ahead and keep this for the Traxxas battery, but I'm not going to use this setup for this. What I'm going to do is change these two ends to EC5s because they are ranked at 20 amps more than the Traxxas connector, and I think you'd be better off just connecting these directly to there. So I'm going to make a longer connection here, but that's a recommendation there. If you're going to use this style of battery, you can just have a positive and negative. So you have the one negative going to 2 plugs, one positive going to 2 plugs. So you have positive, negative, and then your battery just connects from the negative to the positive here, and that connects both batteries together, and you can just connect them in. And what I've done at this point is this, but we are going to remove this and fix that. Another thing with the water lines, they generally recommend keeping them separated. That way you can actually check to see what the temperatures are on each separate motor, and not have and know if you have one motor running harder than the other, if maybe you have a bearing issue or something else. If you end up tying these ESCs, the water lines, into each other, so it runs through this one and out this one into this motor, then you're going to end up having a heat. If you have one motor that's running hot, you're not going to be able to tell which one it is if you run the water lines together. So you want to keep them separate. So you have a loop here. So what you do is you got water comes in to the ESC, goes through the loop here, and then out to the motor, and then out the motor to the side. You want to keep it like that. That way you can really check your temperatures and know if you have an issue on one side or the other. Another thing you want to check is if you remove this bolt down here we talked about, you want to see if that shaft goes in nice and straight. You can adjust the motor plate down here with these bolts down here. So you have bolts to adjust the plate forward and back down here, and you also have motor bolts that hold the motor to the plate, and those go up and down, so you can adjust up and down on the motor as well. You want to make sure that your shaft lines up perfectly straight, and sometimes they're off. I know that when I got this boat I could not adjust my shafts in far enough, and I had to do some things. So just a little heads up, just some recommendations for you. So I hope this helps you guys out, gives you a little guide on things that will be helpful. But you know, I have one more thing I can recommend. You want to check the when you oil the motor, you want to prop it up at an angle like this, you know. But when you're checking this here, I'm going to show you guys something. You want to turn the motor over, turn this whole boat upside down. You can lean it over the table like this. That way you don't damage the antenna over here on the side. And you could actually take a level, put a level on right here. You want to measure from the bottom of this point, bottom of this to the level in between, and measure 4 millimeters, and that'll give you a nice flush strut. Anyway, that's about it. I hope that helps you guys. Have a great day.